Good morning, traders. Welcome to today's market review. This is Fred Razak at CMTrading. Today is October 4th, 2021, and today is Monday morning. So welcome back, everybody. And looking at the highlights of the day, the U.S. markets bounce, but the question is how long? Now, looking at the major economic events of the day, we do have OPEC meetings happening all day long. And then later on the week, on Fridays, FOMC, just want to give you a heads up on it. Now, looking at the various markets, starting out with the Forex symbols, US dollar tumbles versus the major pairs. And as we're looking at the indices, the Dow Jones bounces, but the Nasdaq doesn't have much of a bounce. Now, looking at commodities, gold trading on resistance at 1760 and oil is steady. Looking at the stock market, the tech stocks led the market further down, and that's continued. And looking at Jpmorgan still strong, and Bitcoin lastly at crypto and pops higher. So let's take a look at the markets and see what we can expect from today's trading. So we're going to even look at a longer time frame. We generally never look at a monthly time frame, and we're going to have to take a look at that because the Euro USD is on multiple month support. Okay, we had this resistance going back in 2016, 2015. You could see that right there. And right now we're sitting on that support, previous resistance, subsequent support right here in 2021. So this is really a very important line. Now, if this blue bar, okay, which is the 30-day moving average, gets broken, that would mean that we would go back to this 109-ish level. Okay, that really would mean that. So I'm going to be looking into this later today to see if this does happen, if this breaks later, either today or further in the week, especially going into the month. That's going to be a very important month for us. October is specifically a sell-off month for the indices in the United States, which means the dollar will get stronger if the indices continue to sell off. Now, looking at the other major pairs, the Aussie US dollar a little bit stronger than the euro, as it's not breaking down at this 7182, and GBP USD, also a little bit stronger. So we may get that bounce in the euro going into the first week of October. Now, looking at some of the other markets, looking at gold here at 1760. That was our previous support, now subsequent resistance. So we're going to see it actually consolidate in this area if it doesn't break out higher. Okay, so that is something where we're at this junction, which is really very important. Now, looking at crude oil, we're at the top of the range here. Okay, the price of oil is pretty steady, but I'd like to see it either break out. Okay, later today we do have those OPEC meetings, which will discuss further output and will also affect the price of oil. Now, looking at the U.S. markets, the Dow Jones, okay, this we're looking at a weekly chart, and we're trading at right now 34,000, okay, which is about 1,500 points down from our all-time highs. If we look at a daily, we're right there. Okay, we bounced, but now we're selling off a little bit just this morning. But all intents and purposes, I do expect it to further correct itself. Okay, if it's going to further correct itself, it may correct itself somewhere in the 34,500-ish level at the top of the range. Okay, if it doesn't get that momentum later today and breaks down further, we could see breaking down to 33,400. So we're just consolidating in this area. Now, looking at the tech stocks, okay, the tech market has been really very weak. Now we're looking at let's look at a daily chart of the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq really breaking down here. Okay, I do expect us to get some what's the word I'm looking for? Some bounce at a certain point, okay, because we are inching in on previous support, okay, but how much of a bounce, I'm not really sure, because if we look at the tech stocks, it's weak or weaker. Okay, there's nothing really strong with the tech stocks. If you look at Apple, you could see, yeah, it bounced a little bit, but that's short covering. That's not much of a bounce. If you look at Facebook, also really very, very weak. Now, if you look at Microsoft, did get a little bit more of a bounce, and looking at a 4-hour chart, you could see that, but still relatively weak. Okay, this does have a little bit further that it could go higher, but again, relatively weak. Amazon did not get that. Okay, and Amazon really has been trading sideways for the past I would say, for the past 7 to 8 months, okay, where we've been just consolidating. You could see that much clearer here. Since May, we've just been consolidating within this area. So that's something to consider there. Now, looking at the big board stocks, Jpmorgan still very strong at 167. So it's kind of an anomaly that the Dow Jones is selling off so aggressively. Looking at Alcoa, also relatively strong, not breaking out higher, but not selling down, where I would have expected to be somewhere in the $40 range. Now, lastly, looking at Bitcoin, this is where it's really at 47,575. Got that nice pop-up, but now it's on resistance-ish level. 48,000 is a minor resistance-ish level, and we need to see that break out higher to see that continue the trend. Now, again, we do have this Friday unemployment numbers coming out of the United States. That's very, very important. I think that's going to play a lot into this week. This is Fred Razak. I want to wish everybody a great trading day. Thank you.